Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Eric Johansson, a teacher with the LSAT Demon. That's Nathan Fox, co-founder of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. We have an email here from Izzy.
I took the LSAT in June 2023 and was terribly underprepared. I have now been prepping with the Demon and plan on retaking it several times until I get my desired score. That being said, should I retake the writing portion? When I first took the test, I thought my writing portion went really well. However, with 30 seconds left, I decided to add a word or two to the last sentence of the last paragraph. The timer cut me off when I hadn't finished the last two letters of the last word along with the final period. These were therefore left out.
Izzy, I got to cut you off there.
Yeah.
You're never getting into law school. I'm sorry. This is clearly a deal breaker.
That's a joke.
Two letters of the last word? Oh my goodness.
That's a joke. And yeah, I mean, I think for 95% of the cases, no one's even going to notice that. If the bulk of everything else you wrote is solid enough, then it's going to look like a weird glitch at the end of the thing and nobody's going to give a shit. I don't think anybody would ever care.
No.
That said, yes, you should redo it. Because that's what a lawyer would do. You filed a brief and it's come to your attention that the brief is in error. Okay, then you do the fucking work and you refile the brief. You apologize, you own it, and you refile the brief. So just do it again. It's another 35 minutes and just do it again. I was not going to retake it because it felt silly. Everyone who can read it can tell what word it was supposed to be, and clearly I ran out of time. However, after you had Maya on and she stressed the newfound importance of the writing sample. Maya, I'm sorry. After you had Maya on and she stressed the newfound importance of the writing sample, I am having doubts. Should I redo the writing sample portion? Thanks for your advice, Izzy. I say yes. I just don't, if you're in doubt, yeah, probably do it because all of your crazy competitors are dotting every I and crossing every T. And if you're applying to some nothing regional school, which most schools are nothing regional schools, I'm talking about the UC San Francisco laws of the world, any school that's ranked 50th in the country or, even probably higher, 40th, 30th in the country. They're nothing special. They're just a local school. They have pretensions of being highfalutin, but you got 30 schools above them that are looking down their nose at those schools. They're just not that great of a school. And if you have the right scores and the right grades, this type of thing never is going to keep you out of going to whatever school.
No.
But Harvard, Stanford, Yale, other schools in the top 14, if your numbers put you more on the bubble than like an automatic shoe-in, they're looking for reasons to get rid of you at Harvard, Stanford, Yale. And even if you're not looking at Harvard, Stanford, Yale, like let's say you're looking at, USC, okay? 17th in the country or something like that. Second best school within 10 miles, like it's not that great of a school, USC Law, but it's pretty good compared to a lot of other schools. That school's going to get a lot of applications. They're going to say no to more people than they're going to say yes to. And if your numbers are on the bubble, then, hey, they're going to have to say no to some people who look like you. This could be the excuse that would let them tell one, if they, I can't really tell between Izzy and whoever. Oh, that's weird on the writing sample. Shrug. Don't have any better other thing to discriminate. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I think it is highly unlikely that it would ever come down to that. I think there's always going to be other things that are a more useful point of comparison between applicants who even seem similar and same GPA, same LSAT, similar resumes. I think there will always be something that is a more appropriate distinction than which one managed to complete the final word of their LSAT writing sample. That said, yeah, if it's literally like, if they're looking for some reason, sure. And there's no reason not to retake the writing section, so might as well.
Yeah, there's no reason other than 35 minutes and however much money LSAC probably charges you to redo it. I just think it is gonna, in the one, let's say you apply to 20 schools. 19 of the schools, it doesn't matter. But maybe at one school, it ends up being a differentiator.
Sure.
Then it might end up being a differentiator. And I guess the thing that I really want to tell Izzy is that this is an opportunity, Izzy, for you to practice being a lawyer. And there is no doubt that a lawyer would refile this shit. A real lawyer, a lawyer who's going to win, is going to refile this.
Mm.
You know, like that attitude of, well, anybody who reads it can tell what the word was supposed to be. And clearly I just ran out of time. Yeah, but the opposing brief is impeccable. You know, or like, yeah, but on the law school exam where you're competing with everybody else on a strict curve, somebody else didn't run out of time. Somebody else did finish that sentence. Somebody else did have that closing period. And if it comes down to who's going to get the A and who's going to get the A minus, like you're not getting the A with this, you're getting the A minus or worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the hyper competitive world that Izzy, you are trying to get yourself into, I think for your own, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I don't know. It's like build that muscle of just like, you gotta have the patience. And if you're not the type of person who likes paperwork, then you are in the wrong field.
Have you ever heard the phrase, how you do anything is how you do everything?
Totally. And that's absolutely like, you know, this excuse, and we're sympathetic. We're people who we're on your side, Izzy, because you're writing in and you trust us with your LSAT prep and we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
We want to be on your side, but the evaluator of your application has no incentive to be on your side. And they are going to be comparing all of your shit against all of anybody else's shit. And they could very well look at this and go, oh, yeah, well.
And also the fact that you wrote in, Izzy, which thank you for doing so, the fact that you wrote in to ask about this tells us that it's weighing on your mind. So why not just get it done with and then it's off your mind?
Yeah. And in the 5 minutes that it took you to write into the podcast, you could have like signed up for a redo of the writing sample and just got it on your calendar and just made it happen.
Sure.
So yeah, I hope you redo it, Izzy. Even though it probably, like, even just for yourself, like have the knowledge that probably this is never going to make any difference at all.
Yeah.
But it's good practice for you to just go ahead and refile this because you know it's broken.
Yep. I do want to mention before we wrap up, Izzy references your interview with Maya Russell on Thinking LSAT episode 440, title A Slower Cycle. Check that out if you want. Maybe just, can you recap your memory from that conversation of why it was that Maya said schools might be paying more attention to LSAT writing these days?
I can't even remember. I remember that she said that, but do you remember why she said people are going to pay more attention to LSAT writing these days?
I think my memory of it is that the schools recognize that writing samples elsewhere in the application might not be an accurate representation of how that candidate actually writes, whether it's because you had AI to write, AI wrote your personal statement, or you hired somebody to help you meticulously edit and craft your personal statement. We have an editor
on staff. You know, I mean, Leslie Blodgett works at LSAT Demon, and you can hire her to do hourly consulting on your personal statement, diversity essays, short answer questions for any schools that require optional or not require, but offer optional essays. But yeah, I mean, there are professional editors out there, including Leslie, who's wonderful, who can help you with that, but they can't help you with your LSAT writing sample that's done in controlled testing environments. There are other reasons. One is that the LSAT writing used to be pencil and paper, which I always, for years, I just mocked the fact that, it was like 2017 and no lawyer uses pencil and paper. Well, the old ones do use pencil and paper, but anybody in the modern world types.
Yeah.
And it just was absurd that you're doing this writing sample in fucking pencil.
Yeah. No one's going to read that.
Nah, the schools aren't going to read that. But because you can't even read half the people's handwriting, you certainly couldn't read my handwriting. But when it switched over to a typed essay, I can just imagine if I were in that chair, I might be more interested in your LSAT writing sample than in your personal statement. Because your personal statement, yeah, you could have gotten help on it and you could have taken all the time in the world to craft it. And I guess I would be interested in that type of writing from you as well. Like if you have unlimited time, let's see what you can come up with. But as a little just reality check, maybe you were educated in a foreign country and I'm worried about your English abilities. Or, bad grades in undergrad, but high LSAT. Wonder if this person can string 2 sentences together.
Mm-hmm.
And someone who's a good reader, good writer, I can read 1 sentence of an LSAT writing sample and I can start to make some pretty accurate judgments about your ability to write, which also indicates your ability to read. And so I think I would use it. I wouldn't read the whole damn thing. Izzy might be fine because that last sentence, I'd be like, I already loved or hated your writing, Izzy, after 2 sentences.
Right.
But I do. Yeah. I mean, I think that is a trend. And Maya Russell, I mean, she's the chair of Plank, National Pre-Law Advisor Association. I forget exactly the acronym, but point is, Maya knows a lot about law school admissions. And if she says that law schools are starting to pay more attention to the LSAT writing, then I think you need to give it a little bit more attention. That said, you also don't need to practice for it. You don't really need to do very much preparation. We have a short video on lsatdemon.com. It's 10 minutes and you can watch our basic, just quick little rubric for how to do the LSAT writing sample. It's super formulaic.
Let me ask you this. You've always said don't practice for LSAT writing.
Yeah.
Would a lawyer practice for LSAT writing?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you do one. I just what I really don't want people to do, and I've seen people do this before, is I've seen them practice LSAT writing a lot to the exclusion of practicing actual LSAT. And LSAT writing is not scored. LSAT is. LSAT writing, they have no way of putting the result of that into a spreadsheet and sorting by that.
Right.
LSAT, they do. And one more LSAT point is way more important than a pristine LSAT writing. So if it comes down to what should I focus my time on? Yeah, 99.9% of your time should be focused on improving your 120 to 180 LSAT score. Then also just make sure you're prepared for LSAT writing, which isn't that hard. I think if you watch my 10-minute video, if you feel uncomfortable, then sure, practice it once, but not more than that. And you don't need anybody to read your LSAT writing and give you feedback on it or anything. I would just follow the directions. That's actually a really important part because if you one way to fuck it up bad is to just not follow the instructions. We know every time that LSAT writing is going to give you a choice. It's basically plan A or plan B. And there's going to be some client or some entity who is deciding between plan A and plan B. And they have these criteria that are important to them. And then it's a super simple, super formulaic exercise. You consider their criteria, what's important to you, client, then evaluate plan A and plan B. But the instructions tell you to advocate for one side over the other.
And there isn't a right answer.
There is no right answer. It's not like we're looking for your analytical ability to pick which side is actually secretly the better one. It's not like that at all. No. You could just as easily write in favor of plan A as plan B. And it doesn't matter. Coin toss. Just decide. I don't care. If you decided you were always going to pick the first option, that would be fine. But you can't sit the fence. If you set the fence, then you're not responding to the prompt, because the prompt said advocate for one side over the other. So fence sitting, not allowed, but pick one side over the other. And then all you do is you emphasize the strengths of the side that you're picking, like how this side does meet my client's goals. And then you're going to emphasize the ways in which the side you're not picking doesn't meet your client's goals.
Yep.
Simple as that.
There you go.
Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.